us live to Newzroom Afrika reporter Malungelo Booi for his observations so far. Malungelo, good morning. I can see right behind you, red ants are, it's really business as usual for them. Talk us through what's happening there.
Well, Mpo, we arrived about 10 minutes ago. I can tell you now what we've seen is a complete destruction. A lot of structures have been demolished by the red ants, and of course they are accompanied by police officers and metro police. And I just want you to see on my right, there's a lot of police officers that are accompanying these red ants that are currently demolishing structures here in Lawley Extension 2. Here's what we've been told by the few people that we've been able to talk to. They're saying that, red ants have started moving in here in the morning, demolishing structures that were not occupied. So essentially, if they find a shack that's standing vacant without anyone inside, that structure will be demolished. We have not been told exactly as to why these structures have been demolished by authorities, but our understanding, though, Mpo, is that there has been an assessment that was done by authorities in Johannesburg who were moving around this particular area to try and assess the level of land invasion that's been taking place, and apparently a decision then was taken to sort of like remove or demolish some of these structures. And this is not something new. This is something that we've become too familiar with, especially in this part of the city where there has been a lot of instances or cases where people would essentially invade land. Those people that would ordinarily invade land will tell you that they've been waiting for houses for far too long and that they can no longer wait, and the best solution for their housing problem is invading land. And I suppose, Mpo, that's why we're currently seeing these evictions taking place and these structures essentially being demolished in this part of Johannesburg.
Now, just getting a sense of how communities are reacting to this process, what have you heard, or perhaps as you interact with some of the community members there?
I interacted with two people thus far, and those people both had their structures evicted, and all they said to me is that they don't understand why their structures were being evicted, destroyed or demolished by authorities, if authorities were targeting structures that were empty. And one of the women was quite teary when I was talking to her, and she says she really does not understand, and she does not know, in fact, where she's going to sleep tonight. You see, after they've flattened the structures, what the red ants do, they'll then load those corrugated iron sheets into these trucks. There's many of them, Mpo. There's many of them. They're strewn everywhere. If you look just in front of you up there, there's also, I think there's something that's been set alight there. You'd find, this entire area is not only filled or full of these structures, shacks everywhere, but also it's full of these red ants that are trying to demolish these structures, which we believe have been erected here illegally.
Now, Malungelo, it also brings to mind on questions about the legality of this move, especially as we know that Human Settlements Minister Lindiwe Sisulu has reiterated her calls for municipalities not to cut water to residents or evict residents during this time. So it brings to mind whether or not the red ants form part of the essential services.
Look, it's anyone's guess, really, but what I can tell you that the fact that there's police that are accompanying the red ants to execute this task, one can draw a conclusion for that. They've actually been given a permission and a mandate to do this. In fact, the red ants don't just go and demolish structures without an instruction from authorities. I suppose there's an instruction that came from perhaps the office of the city of Johannesburg. I don't know. That's something that we still need to clarify. But also, Paul, the clarity that we need is who actually owns this land. Because my understanding about, I think it was last year, not far from where we are, there was also the same thing that was happening, where structures were demolished and people being accused of having invaded land and building in that land illegally. And we're currently seeing the same thing happening over and over again. But this also, this also talks to the problem that we have in this country, the problem that we have of housing, where because people are tired of waiting for housing, perhaps from government, they then decide to take the land and build their own homes. But the result of that, though, is what we're currently seeing here in Lawley.
It also looks like there seems to be no resistance from any of the residents there. It seems like some of them may not be home and the process is continuing without them. I'm not getting a sense that people are angered by this move, just looking at your background.
Look, I have not seen people fighting the red ends off, but someone did tell me earlier that there were rubber bullets that were shot, but I have not been able to independently verify that. But here's what's happening. I want you to see. Shortly after the structures are demolished, you know, people are already... be careful there, Morena. People are already, you know, kind of like... regrouping again and collecting some of their properties. Let's come here. Let's see what's happening here. Something is happening here. I think they want to get in here quickly. How are you, Mama? Kunjan, Mama? You don't want to talk? Oh, she clearly does not want to talk to me.
Yeah.
But she literally closed the door on me. I suppose, though, if people don't want to talk, people don't... I suppose if people don't want to talk, they don't want to talk.
Absolutely.
And you can't essentially force them to do that.
Thank you so much, Malungelo. Let's leave it there for now and let you continue to do your work out there, really just monitoring developments and really trying to get a sense of how people are reacting to these demolitions. Of course, the timing, there's lots of question marks there, and the authorization of the red ants, also more question marks there. We'll continue